A police car pulls up to an old white house in the countryside. 2 other police cars are already parked outside of the house. Sheriff Dentler walks up to the house and finds a bloody blanket. Underneath it lays a dead body. He walks across the porch, which is covered in blood, and sees an axe next to the door. He enters the house to find that the TV is on. Another sheriff tells him there is something he should take a look at, and they go down into the basement. The sheriff shines his flashlight on something in the basement, and Sheriff Dentler gasps. It is 1979, and Maxine Minks cuts lines of cocaine on a mirror. She snorts a line in the dressing room of Bayou Burlesque in Houston, Texas. Her boyfriend, Wayne Gilroy, comes into the dressing room, embraces her from behind and urges her to get a move on. Bags in hand, they get into a car and drive off to a remote place to make their adult film. They listen to music and pass around a script of The Farmer's Daughters. Along with Maxine and Wayne, Bobby Lynn, Jackson Hole, RJ and Lorraine also ride in the car. Maxine, Bobby Lynn and Jackson Hole are going to star in the adult film. Wayne is the producer and RJ and his girlfriend Lorraine are going to film. They ride past a gruesome scene of a cow that has been split in half by a truck. The car tires crunch over the bones and guts, and Sheriff Dentler stands in the road, examining the cow. They pull up at the White House from the first scene. Wayne Gilroy approaches the front door and knocks. Lorraine and her boyfriend argue about filming the movie. Howard, an old man, comes to the door with his gun in hand and aims it at Wayne. Howard is confused and claims that the group is trespassing, but quickly remembers that he has allowed them to stay in his guest house. He steps onto the porch and begins to lead the group towards the guest house. As they collect their belongings, Maxine looks up at the window of the house to see an old woman, Pearl, staring down at her. Howard walks them through the field to the guest house and they get settled in. They begin filming their adult movie, starting with Bobby Lynn and Jackson Hole. Maxine goes outside to smoke a cigarette and walks into the forest behind the house. She comes across a pier and a small pond. She takes her shoes off and puts her foot in the water, and Pearl watches her from the forest. Maxine strips and jumps into the water, then swims to the middle of the pond. As she lay in the water, a crocodile is seen hiding in the water nearby. Maxine starts to swim back towards the pier, oblivious to the crocodile slowly swimming after her. Maxine climbs back onto the pier before the crocodile can reach her. Maxine walks back to the house and looks up at the main house, where she sees Pearl standing on the porch, waving at her. She waves back and Pearl goes back inside. Maxine walks up to the main house and stands in the doorway on the porch. She opens the door and calls out. She enters the house and walks down the hallway and into the kitchen, where dirty dishes are piled and the stove is on. Pearl appears behind her and offers her lemonade. She sits at the kitchen table with Pearl, while the rest of the group continues filming the adult film in the other house. Maxine quickly gulps down her lemonade and says she needs to get back to her friends. Pearl walks her out, standing in front of an old picture of herself and Howard when they were young and beautiful. Pearl inches closer to Maxine, admiring her youth and her beauty. She tries to peek through Maxine's clothing. Howard pulls back up to the house in his truck and Maxine sneaks out the side door. She runs back to the guest house and snorts more cocaine. As she gets ready to do her part in the film, she tells herself she won't accept a life she doesn't deserve. As Howard enters his home, he sees the 2 cups and pitcher of lemonade on the kitchen table. The group sets up to film in the barn with the cows. Pearl sits at her vanity and stares at herself in the mirror. She brushes her hair and puts on makeup. Maxine and Jackson act out their scene for the movie, and Pearl is secretly watching them from outside. After the scene is over, she walks around in the dark outside, then enters back into the main house where Howard is sitting and waiting for her on the couch. As she enters the house, he gets up and walks towards her. She starts to dance slowly and reaches out to embrace him. Howard refuses, claiming that his heart can't handle it. Back in the guest house, Jackson plays the guitar while Bobby Lynn sings. Back in the main house, Pearl wipes her makeup off after being rejected by Howard. Lorraine decides that she also wants to do a scene in the movie, and her boyfriend RJ films her scene with Jackson. As everyone sleeps in bed after a day of filming, RJ sobs in the shower. He gets out of the shower, grabs the keys and starts to drive away in their car with the intention of leaving everyone behind. As he drives off, he sees Pearl standing in front of his car and gets out to check on her. She presses up against him, moaning and touching him. He rejects her, and she stabs him in the neck with a knife. When he collapses on the ground, Pearl climbs on top of him and takes the knife out of his neck and then stabs him repeatedly while she wails. Pearl stands up covered in blood and starts to dance to an imaginary song. She opens the car door, turns the car off, and takes the keys. At that moment, Lorraine rolls over in bed and realizes that RJ isn't sleeping in the bed beside her. She gets up and walks down the hall to find that the door is wide open. She steps outside and looks around for RJ. Wayne appears behind her to see what's going on, and they walk out into the night to look for RJ. She walks up to the main house and sees Howard on the porch. Howard is looking for his wife, who has gone missing. Wayne enters the barn to look for RJ. As he walks through the barn, he steps on a nail that goes through his foot. He takes the nail out of his foot and sees Pearl watching him. Lorraine is in the main house with Howard as they gather lamps so that they can begin searching for Pearl and RJ. He asks her to go get a lamp down in the cellar, expressing his concern for his sick wife. Back in the barn, Pearl stands over Wayne, who she has beaten and killed. She uses a pitchfork to put hay on top of his body. Back in the house, Lorraine finds the lamp in the basement, and when she goes back up to the basement door, she realizes that she is locked in. She panics and bangs on the door. She runs back down into the basement, turns the light on, and sees a mutilated body hanging in the basement. Back at the guest house, Jackson wakes up, claiming to have heard something. Bobby Lynn wakes up and then goes back to sleep. Jackson goes out into the living room and opens the fridge to drink some milk. He sees a flashlight outside, then sees Howard approaching the guest house. He opens the door and Howard explains that his wife has gone missing and is confused. Jackson offers to help and they walk off into the night. Pearl enters the guest house and goes into Maxine's room. She stares at Maxine, who is asleep in bed, pulls down Maxine's blanket and starts taking her clothes off. She then gets into bed with her and lays down. Pearl sits back up in bed and starts to touch Mia, leaving traces of blood all over her body. She starts to kiss her on the head. As Jackson searches around the pond alone, he sees an old car that has sunken into the pond. Back in the main house, Lorraine tries to find a way out of the basement. She finds an axe and then goes back up the stairs to bust out of the door. Jackson runs into Howard as he searches for Pearl, and Howard accuses him and his friends of seducing his wife. He shoots him with his shotgun. Back in the guest house, Maxine wakes up and sees Pearl lying next to her, staring at her. Maxine screams and wakes up Bobby Lynn, who runs out as Pearl flees the scene. Back at the main house, Lorraine busts through the door and tries to reach the doorknob. Howard shoots her hand with his shotgun and demands that she stay in the basement. Bobby Lynn walks around outside trying to find the men. As she wanders through the forest, she sees Pearl standing on the pier near the pond and drapes her in a cloth, offering her help. Pearl snaps at her and pushes her into the water, where the crocodile sinks its teeth into her, killing her. Back at the guest house, Maxine scrubs the blood off her body. She looks around the house to find that everyone is gone. She then sees Howard and Pearl walking through the lawn and up towards the guest house. They enter the house and find that Maxine is gone, and the guest house is empty. Pearl expresses her jealousy of Maxine's youth and beauty. Howard tries to console his wife. They start to make love as Maxine hides under the bed. Maxine crawls out from under the bed and they make a run for it while this continues on and runs towards the car. She sees that the tyre has been stuck with a knife and sees RJ dead in front of the car. She hears Lorraine crying for help at the main house. She grabs a gun in the glove compartment and runs towards the house to help Lorraine. Maxine frees Lorraine, who freaks out and runs out of the house, and then immediately gets shot by Howard. As Howard drags her dead body back into the house, Lorraine sputters and Howard collapses and has a heart attack. Pearl pleads for Maxine's help. Maxine points her gun at Pearl and then shoots to find that the gun is not loaded. At that moment, Pearl picks up Howard's shotgun and shoots at Maxine but misses. The gun backfires and Pearl goes flying through the front screen door and onto the lawn. She breaks her hip and again pleads for Maxine's help. Maxine drives off in their pickup truck, running over Pearl's head on her way out. She drives off and does a line of cocaine out of her hand. Taken back to the first scene of the police at the house, the sheriff and his men take away the dead bodies. They find the video camera and wonder what could be on it.